So I don't know what's going on over there, but I hope they're all right. But it says a lot of people want me put in the back of an ambulance, handcuffed, disappeared. But no black wizard here, a vulva state. Sometimes innocent men do have to run, fly, go, disappear, follow your golden compass. I do move around the line here, because they certainly will box you up, lock you up, or get you done in, disappeared one way or another. All to cover up high crimes, royal blue murder, and certainly not mine. See Prince Harry the Spare for details. And just following on from what I shared in the other video about the IPCC taking up my case, and they even used the word framed. Mandy Liddon backing me 100%. And the Independent Office of Police Conduct also took up my case. Presented it to, again, Norfolk Bacon SS, Windsor Gestapos, the local Nazis, Police Plebs Headquarters. The Professional Standards Department, I call the Unprofessional Police Cover-Up Department. The reference number is posted online. Don't know off the top of my head. 941038, something like that. But, and I was meant to have got a reply within 1 month. And that was over a year ago, because they cannot back up their big monster con, monster bluff, monster gaff, epic fail. Again, all they really have is sip, zero, silch, nil, a whole lot of nothing. 7 monster lies, 7 Dr. Death SS, Silver Bullet Hume Kitson, bogus diagnosis. And where I was framed and detained, maximum security, sorry confinement, Kitson was handing out diagnosis like parking tickets. I even said to him he was in the wrong job, he should have been a traffic warden. And again, they put more bogus diagnosis on me than on any paedophile, rapist, ripper, black wizard, terrorist, shooter, mass murderer, serial killer, you can mention past or present. But no Red Carmichael Dunn, Michael Sands, Sutcliffe, Steve Wright, Wayne Cousins, Brady Huntley, Fred West. And none of them had 7 bogus diagnoses, the biggest monster bogus diagnosis. And the diagnoses were never discussed. You'd go to a toilet or a bath or a meal, and when you come back, there'd be another diagnosis next to your bed, and they would twist everything that you said. And 5 lots of drugs, 3 lots of drugs, and then another 2 lots of drugs to counteract all the side effects from the 3 lots of drugs. Latest SS zombie drugs, and that would take you literally 10-15 minutes to shuffle from here over to that ambulance. And you'd be interviewed in this condition too. And they completely overdone the drugs in my case, because as I say, this SS police had told them that I was the big mad monster, black wizard, psycho serial killer, demon possessed. So they completely overdone the drugs. And I thought they were trying to kill me because my heart was beating at twice the normal rate. And my body was going into spasms. And that weren't the doctors or the nurses that raised the alarm. And again, no Clockwork Orange, Norwich train station, mountain bike rapist here, no black wizard here, and a vulva state, Sandringham serial killer. So I thought they were trying to stop my heart. And then they would say that Johnny Botwright died of natural causes, heart attack. That's poor old Roger, what's happened to him? And again, they all want me put in a straitjacket and sent to the Norfolk Bacon SS pork farm, and that's them going in an ambulance. So they want me in a padded cell. So again, it wasn't the doctors or the nurses that raised the alarm that my body was going into spasms, my heart was beating at twice the normal rate. Again, I thought they were going to try and stop my heart, and so I died of natural causes. Now that'd be you died of COVID, and you'd be disappeared. That was the dinner ladies who raised the alarm, so they had to stop, and then I was able to escape, because you couldn't escape drugged up to your eyeballs. Like I say, it'd take you 10-15 minutes to shuffle from here over to that ambulance. So Dis Mason Council, White Lodge, the local mafia, the local mob, all their cronies, spies and informers, Norfolk Bacon SS, Windsor Gestapo, the local Nazis, precision engineered, black box, serial killer frame, fix assassination. All in the bag, no purple guys, serial killer here. So I got a big long list of 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses they want everyone to believe are true, but never the case 39 on all accounts. And again, 2 will smokers certainly will smoke you to anyone's dirty work. Can see Simon Bailey don't cry and his blonde host plain clothes lover, not true detective. All in the bag. And he's got a loaf of bread in there. You could have seen Inspector Hayden, Richard Hayden, near where I used to live. Richard Hayden run a baker's shop. And they certainly put me in the Norfolk Bacon SS black oven. Burnt me black, serial killer black, beyond recognition. Good film, case 39, but no case 39. Here's Johnny, Dr. Sleep, Jack the Ripper crime, no Roy White and White Van Man, Christian B. So they set me up with the biggest monster lies, biggest bogus diagnosis, all to cover up Prince Harry's royal spare behind, New Year's Day fine, September blue murder, certainly not mine, Evergreen Toxic Crown Corporation, Sachs Goburn Goffer, Windsor SS. And I did escape, but I had called for a tribunal. So I did go back for the tribunal to get officially released. Unfortunately for me, the chairman was a Christian. The woman on his left was a Christian, and the woman on his right was very understanding too. Again, sometimes innocent men do have to run, fly, go, disappear. No Red Carmichael Dunn, Michael Sands, Sutcliffe Steve Wright, Wayne Cousins, Brady Huntley, Fred West, serial killer here. And they could see right through the 7 monster lies and the 7 bogus diagnoses also. So the chairman writ me a very special report, categorically saying Johnny Holmes, who was my psychiatric nurse, said Johnny is nothing like this police have made him out to be. Spoke up for me at the tribunal. And it was a bit like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. When I come out, all the other patients cheered and that, because I'd been officially released. I did help them and get alongside them in there, because they were really suffering. And if you ever want to know what hell sounds like, spend some time in an asylum with all the tormented souls. There's Prince Harry and Meghan there. Just ain't about this to get some more monster lies, bogus diagnosis, all to cover up his high royal blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September blue murder, certainly not mine. So in an asylum, there's lots of weeping, gnashing of teeth, screaming, yelling, ranting, raving. So if you do ever know what hell sounds like, spend some time in an asylum. Right, so I did get alongside some of the people in there. And the big problem with psychiatric hospitals, the more diagnosis they write, the more drugs they prescribe, the more money they make, ching ching. You give me a white coat, £120,000 a year, and a yacht in the Bahamas, I could sit there all day writing out bogus diagnosis, putting people on bogus drugs, ching ching. Not that I would do that, but a lot of people do. There is a good video by an Australian psychiatrist who even says that people are some psychiatrists are even making up diagnosis to make money. They don't cure anyone, it's all about making money, big drug dealers. And certainly what we saw over the last 5 years, big medical scam. Many disappeared and billions stolen. So no beast of Punjab, Bradford, serial killer here, but it only takes one person with a knife gun. Plenty of people who'll do other people's dirty work. One gang of fire, and you certainly can go up in smoke. So the chairman wrote me a very special report saying I was no danger or threat to myself or any other person, told me to take it to this police station. And who should come out of this police station in full uniform? Inspector Numbnuts Bunton, Mr. Fixer. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Again his face went as red as a traffic light. I was the last person in the world he thought he was going to see, because such was their aim, such was their frame. They wanted me detained indefinitely, lock him up, box him up, throw away the key. So he weren't expecting to see me, so I did give him the report. I don't know if he ever did put it on the Dis police file. But like I say, he was in full uniform at this police station. And he was Mr. Fixer. And when the IPCC took up my case, the Independent Police Complaints Commission, Mr. Fixer, Inspector Numbnuts Bunton, also claimed this in front of his wife and a friend, so I did send his wife a copy of the letter to prove that he was lying. He falsely claimed that he had nothing to do with my detention, and that happened after he was retired. Two big blatant lies from a police inspector, and they wouldn't even investigate it. And that's why I've got the letter sent to where I was framed and detained, and that's signed by guess who? Inspector Numbnuts Bunton, Mr. Fixer, liar, liar, pants on fire. He was not retired. He had every knowledge of my detention because he was Mr. Fixer. So, when you're up against the corrupt powers to be, and their monster lies and their bogus diagnosis, no Black Panther, serial killer here, Africa, Dis, Norwich and Sandringham, really don't think so. One big collaboration. An old cover-up, Prince Harry's Royal Spare Behind, New Year's Day Find, September Blue Murder. Certainly not mine, Prince of Darkness, E.T. Hybrid Host, Red Dragons. And as always, that is the word that came off the Royal Sandringham Estate. Killing fields, loud and clear. And during the pandemic, there was a professor in France of biology, really knew his stuff, who dared to question the official narrative, the official COVID narrative. Armed police rolled up at his home, took him to a psychiatric hospital because he dared to question, again, the official narrative and the COVID vaccines. Again, there was a man in Canada, I saw his story, where federal police rolled up at his home because he said a certain medical invention was making people disappear. And he was, again, armed federal police in Canada rolled up at his home, took him to a psychiatric hospital. The psychiatrist claimed that he was delusional. Now, he was telling the truth. A certain medical intervention that some big monster lie that some people claimed was safe and effective, which was never safe and effective. Big monster lie, everyone had to comply, conform, consent, obey, and confess was true. So he was taken to a psychiatric hospital. Again, psychiatrist said that he was delusional. And the big classic with me, the so-called experts asked me if I believed in a higher intelligence. And I said, yes, I do. Let your yes be yes and let your no be no, because I do believe in a higher intelligence. And again, very good film, The Final Girl, rich boys hunting young girls for blood sport, castles, manor houses, UK's Devil Island, country estates. So the so-called experts asked me, do I believe in a higher intelligence and outside of myself? And I said, yes, I do, because I do. Yahweh, our Heavenly Father, the Lord Jesus Christ, Joshua, angels and demons, Satan and the fallen. So they put on my report, just to give you an example, Johnny Botwright claims that he's controlled by aliens. I even said to Doctor Who, are you kidding me? Is this honestly for real? And again, they asked me, just to give you another example, they asked me if I'd ever listened to any song or seen anything on the telly that I could relate to. And I said yes. For instance, I could relate to the True Detectives, the Lawnmower Man. Some people wanted everyone to believe that Russ Cole was the real dark horse, one of the True Detectives, played by Matthew McConaughey, falsely claiming that he was the real dark horse, mad, deranged, insane. Demon-possessed, satanic serial killer. And nothing could be further from the truth. Russ Cole, one of the True Detectives, played by Matthew McConaughey, was the only one pursuing the real satanic killers, satanic ritual abuse and sacrifices of children and young girls, known some were in high places. The same is true in my story. There are some people who want everyone to believe their 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses are true, all to cover up high crimes. Royal blue murder, certainly not mine. So yes, there's things I've watched, as we all have, that I could relate to. And there's things I've listened to and watched that have inspired me. So I answered yes to those questions that they put on my medical report. Johnny Botwright claims that God speaks to him through the television and the radio. It's not what I said, not what I implied. So they twist anything you say just to make you look like the nut job, the fruit job, and justify obviously their drugs and all their bogus diagnosis and all the money that they make. And there was a psychiatric hospital in Norwich that did get rumbled for committing fraud. Again, the more bogus diagnosis that they write, the more drugs they give, the more money they can claim off the NHS, one big medical scam. So they certainly hung me on an invisible hook, 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses. And again, they want everyone to believe are true, but never the case, 39 on all accounts. And the other laughable thing was too, they claimed that I had no insight or knowledge of my illness, only they could see it. No one else could, only they could see it. The job centre advisors couldn't see it, the job centre GP couldn't see it, my GP couldn't see it, they were out of their depth. Now it's Mrs. Newbury over there, DC3, Hope Church now. All full of mad monster lies, bogus diagnosis. Again, big police SS collaboration to get me boxed up, locked up. Really did sell out an innocent man with a kiss of Judas. 7 pieces of Dr. Death SS silver to the local police SS dogs, the local wolf pack. All smell and blood, closing in for the kill. That's a big one up there, I don't know if you can see it. Again, one big war in this. Certainly can take